This is the Weighing In podcast with Rick and Jina. This podcast is a collaboration between Empower Weight Loss and Lifestyle Coaching and Next Step Lifestyle Coaching. In this episode, we share what may be the best kept secret in weight loss, the to-do approach. Think about it. Most diets burn out quickly, and a big reason why is that our willpower fails us. But what if there was another way to approach this? Listen in for how adopting the to-do philosophy takes the focus off self-control, reduces food stress, and ultimately gives your willpower a chance for those times when you do need to use it. So, is it in fact the best kept secret in weight loss? You decide. Coming up next, the to-do approach.
Today we're going to be talking about something that I think is really important, and I think we can do it quickly, but it is the to-do approach.
Yeah.
And how that factors into a successful, healthy lifestyle, weight management, all of it. So let's see if we can do it. And you don't think we can?
No, especially since, if you remember, not even a little. Part 1 of 6.
Okay. All right. So
for chapter 1. When we first talked about this, we used a soundbite to summarize it as what it might be the best kept secret in weight loss. So I don't know, Jina, if you want to take the best kept secret in weight loss and, shortchange it, that's entirely up to you. But here's something that I think we need to clarify right up front. There's the to-do approach, which is this broad shift in thinking. But then there's our soundbite through the decades of more is better. And there's massive overlap. I don't think they're the exact same thing, but they're largely the same thing. And I think in a lot of cases, we can use them interchangeably.
Yeah. So let's define for the audience what we mean by do approach, and maybe a little bit of background and sort of our training around that, because I think it's a big foundational piece of the training that we both had.
Yes.
So you take a stab at it.
Okay.
So how would you define it?
Largely, to me, the to-do approach is the higher concept, and then more is better is a subset under it. So for me, the to-do approach is an emphasis on specific, actionable behaviors that you can actually break down into its component parts, as opposed to a not-to-do approach, which is like, well, just stop doing that, which is it's not really, you can break that down. It's sort of like, don't eat cake. Gee, thanks.
Right. So the to-do approach is action. It gives you things that you can break down into smaller pieces to be able to meet a goal.
Yes.
So you're moving forward. Action builds momentum, builds motivation.
Right.
Right. And the just stop eating that or don't do that is more, to me, that's like a judgment. Is that weird? Like, to me, when someone says, well, stop eating that. Just don't eat it.
It's almost always carried with judgment.
Right.
Even when you're saying it to yourself.
100%. That's the first thing I think of. Like, well, what do you mean stop doing that? Is that wrong? Or something,
Is this too simplistic? The to-do approach is a positive focus, an emphasis on the to-dos, as opposed to a more of a depriving, restrictive, just stop doing that. It doesn't really lend itself to a series of component actionable steps that lead to the absence of a behavior. All right, so the to-do approach and more is better. So then now let's put a little finer point on the more is better.
Yeah.
Which throughout the you're trying to take people, support people who have through their lives weighed more than they wanted to, and they have a whole series of habits that lead to that. And now you're just basically trying to say, stop doing those things, which is fraught with failure. So the more is better was this programmatic soundbite to try to create this massive pendulum shift in the dieting psyche of basically all Americans, right? To say, no, don't focus on not eating XYZ times 1,000. Instead, focus on doing this and doing more of it.
Right.
So it was really an attempt to reduce decision anxiety for people and to create and to shift people to have some freedom around eating a whole lot more of the healthy low calorie foods.
Right.
That's what More is Better was.
And it's so counterintuitive. So just like I'm going to pretend like I'm one of our members, like, so you actually want me to eat more to lose weight? I don't understand that because my whole life I've been told to eat half,
Yes.
to push away from the plate, to just use my willpower. So I don't understand this more. How can I eat more food and weigh less, Rick? Please help me understand that.
Oh, it's great. So this is great. So you actually have gone exactly where I wanted to go because I went back to some previous our Facebook lives from the past and whatnot,
Yeah.
and I actually have a few different quotes from people.
Mm-hmm.
What was your first reaction when you heard More is Better? So these are some current as well as some former members. So I don't want to take too much time on this, but Debbie was just simply, that can't be right.
Right. Right. Right. No way. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
And then I remember, I think Nancy was with me. We were interviewing this woman, Ellen, and she's funny. She knew she was sort of saying this with a humorous affect, but I literally laughed out loud in the interview. She said, shouldn't we be working on some other kind of math here? As opposed to More is Better to
Right.
lose weight.
Right.
Um, on a serious note, Shane, who we mention a lot,
Yeah.
he shared that this was his biggest draw to ultimately join the program.
Interesting.
That you can
Yeah.
actually eat more,
Yeah.
not be hungry, and still lose weight. And I hear him.
Yeah. I have a funny story on that. So Ava, who one of my members who's been in the with me a very long time and is successfully keeping off, gosh, 60 or more pounds for many, many years. And when she started, and of course she's done a million diets, diet. And she did the program that's shakes and entrees and vegetables and fruits. And she came in the first week and she lost 5 pounds. Great. And she's like, yeah, but I can't do this. I was like, well, what do you mean you can't do it? You just lost 5 pounds. She's like, I'm starving. I'm just starving because she was only eating the 3 and the
Ah,
2,
ah.
5. And somewhere she missed the whole More's Better lecture that I spent 4 hours telling her the first week that people often miss. Um,
Often, often.
often. And partly because it probably is counterintuitive. But anyway, long story short, she's like, oh, so I can eat more? I was like, absolutely. And you should.
Yes.
Off and running, she went, and here she is many years later. And so, yeah, it's hard for people to wrap their head around it, but when they do and they get it, it's very freeing.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
best word I can think.
You know, it's interesting. That is a great example with Ava. So it's really, we're not talking about dabbling in the to-do approach with More is Better. And that's why it was so brilliant, because it was this massive pendulum swing. It was like, no, lean into it and lean into it a little bit more than you think I'm implying that you lean into it. So she was doing 3 shakes, 2 entrees, 5 servings of fruits and veggies,
Mm-hmm.
not enough, as it is for a lot of people. So, and the calories are so low, you can do a lot more on that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, for me, I mean, my fruits and veggies are kind of my anchor in my to-do approach. So, and I'd love to hear yours when I'm done. I was always of the school of thought that you couldn't eat a lot of fruit because it was calorie dense and the sugar. And I mean, this is back in the day. And I think a lot of people think that. And oh, you can't have certain veggies because they're high in starch or whatever, like potato, like all the things that you hear, all the myths that we may do a podcast about coming down the pike. So stay tuned. But I've never eaten more fruits and vegetables. And it is one of the ways I manage my weight. I have 60, 70 servings a week. So that's somewhere in the range of, anywhere from 7 to 10 servings a day. And
It's
that's like my sweet spot.
it's brilliant. It's
Yeah.
so brilliant. I will just say, I may come back to this later if we get to it, but for anyone who's listening who's not in the program,
Yep.
a fundamental premise is that tastes are learned. So when you hear 8, 9, 10 servings of fruits and veggies, that might blow some people's minds. But if you talk to anyone that you work with, or me, or Bill, There's no question. They just rely
Mhm.
on their fruits and veggies, and they've developed their taste for their favorites and the recipes that work. And then behind all of that is this wonderful freedom of
Yeah,
being able to sit and enjoy the meal with no guilt
no guilt.
from beginning to end, even to the point of eating to be full.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I just was thinking cantaloupe. I cut up a melon over the weekend, and I think I probably ate almost the entire melon. Now, to some people, that sounds insane. Like, oh my God, I could never do that. Well, at 10 calories an ounce, and let's just say that it was 16 ounces, it was a pound, minus the skin, the flesh. 160 calories for all that fiber.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Versus, okay, so let's say baked goods at 125 an ounce at 16 ounces, right?
Whew, you're up there.
I mean, yeah. So it's
Almost
interesting. So
2,000.
yes,
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah. I remember writing a blog back in the day, always going for provocative titles. The title was "I Eat Whole Cantaloupes."
Yeah,
Yeah.
without guilt,
Why not?
right?
I'm sorry,
So
when you said you eat whole, did you say whole watermelons? Was that what you said? You're not there yet.
yeah, I'm working up to it. There's the guy who eats all the hot dogs. I'm the one who's going to be famous for eating all the
Oh,
watermelon.
yes, Joey Chestnut. Okay, a couple more great quotes in terms of
Yeah.
just people not hearing it or resisting it. So Pam responded when her first reaction to more is better. I fought it. I couldn't believe that more could be better. But when I started doing it, I was full and I was losing weight. So, I mean, there it is. There it is.
Mm-hmm. When we say more is eat more, it's more of the certain foods that you have created in sort of your toolbox,
Yes.
right? So it isn't eat more donuts and eat more ice cream. Obviously, I think we just have to put a disclaimer in there. It's
Of
eat
course.
more of the low calorie, sort of low energy density foods.
Yes.
Um, so you can eat a lot of them for the fewest amount of calories.
Yes.
More food, fewer calories. It's a win.
Right. So historically, in both of our programs, we've leaned into the shakes. First of all, probably most important, the shakes taste great. So that's important, okay? But they allow you to get a lot of volume for
Yeah.
very few calories. They go great with fruit if you decide to do that. We also use portion control entrees, which are very low calorie density compared to typical entrees out there. And then they really support people to eat more vegetables. And that sort of is your fruit and veggie. That's your big third category of
Yeah.
low energy density foods, fruits and veggies.
Yeah. And it's easy and they're high protein. I mean, there's so many benefits to them, not just the fact that you can eat more. I mean, there's other really good benefits. What's your favorite entree and veggie recipe? Speaking of volume, I'm putting you on the spot, Rick.
No, that's okay. Bill and I just were trading these. I can tell you right now, I mean, I've got many HMR favorites through the years. I almost openly sobbed when they discontinued the chicken Creole, the chicken,
Oh, yeah.
not the savory chicken, the chicken Creole. And now, curiously, it's back.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
I
yes.
know.
Oh my God. I put that in a pan with just a little bit of light soy sauce and it boils. And
Mhm.
I could put it over a ton of veggies. I just love that. But it's really interesting because a lot of people through the years, that was I always said the chicken Creole was my favorite. Um, it was one of their least favorites. So it's
Yeah.
just individual differences.
Yeah.
But right now, I am riding high on this one. If you're using store-bought entrees, which have all of the same
Yeah.
behavioral advantages,
Yeah.
Marie Callender's turkey, mashed potato, and gravy. You ready for this? It's got 13 ounces for only 260 calories. For comparison,
Really?
HMR entrees average 220 calories for
Yeah.
8 ounces. So you get 5 more ounces for an extra 20 calories. A bunch of people have been really working on that. And I'll say another just store-bought one that's very popular are the Real Good
Yeah, those are great.
chicken entrees.
Yeah, those are really, really great. My go-to is often I'm a big spaghetti squash person
Mm-hmm.
because you can eat a lot of it for very few calories. So half a spaghetti squash yields about 2 to 3 cups, high fiber, crunchy. And I mix that with like a pasta fagioli, one of our delicious.
Yes. I will say maybe if I was to live on a desert island for the rest of my life, I might
Which
go
you'd
with
probably love.
the HMR ziti meatball.
Mm, yeah.
Unbelievable. Doesn't feel like you're on a diet at all. And I like to sort of bank my calories throughout the day, leaning way into the shakes, way into the veggies and whatnot. And then I like to do a double with a lot of veggies at night for a massive meal, but not a lot of calories. All
Yeah.
right, so those are just some of our to-dos. I'll just summarize sort of the first reaction to more is better with Bob's comment. I thought the health coach had lost her mind. This was the opposite of what I've heard before, which, Gina, to me ties back to why we call it the best kept secret
Yeah.
in weight loss.
Yeah.
So people are not aware that if you lean into the low energy or low calorie density foods, just how much volume you can get, game
Yep.
the whole hunger issue,
Yep.
and then over time, as taste so learned, really start to enjoy your meals and snacks with very little guilt.
Yeah. And let's not forget how good these foods are for us. Fruits
Yes.
and vegetables loaded with antioxidants and polyphenols and fiber and all the things that are good for our health in addition to the weight. So I think that's a really important point. But yeah, it's a win. It's a win. It's very freeing.
Isn't it interesting the fruits and veggies with so few calories
Mm.
have such a high level of all of the protective compounds and chemicals that you just listed there. It's
Yeah,
just
and they're colorful. It's
yes.
almost as if, it's funny. I was showing a slide to my members the other day, and it was food at a barbecue, and I said, "What do you notice?" I said, "All the food is beige. It's all like brown and beige, you know."
Yes.
And then I showed them this whole plate of fruits, and it was all colorful. It's really interesting how that is. I don't know. I think nature designed it that way somehow.
It is interesting. Love to
Yeah,
lean into the colors of a healthy diet.
yeah.
So there's another aspect to why this is so counterintuitive. So first of all, you've got the culturally embedded belief that we all know you got to eat less,
Mm,
exercise more, and eat less. I mean, how often has that drum been banged into people's brains,
right,
right?
right. Constant.
And yet it's a completely false narrative.
Mm,
It's not true. You don't have to eat less food by weight, by volume, but you do have to eat fewer calories.
yeah.
But it's a totally different point.
Yeah, so it's not eating less, it's eating fewer calories. Very different. I mean, if anybody takes anything away from this, it's that.
Yes.
Not eating less,
Yeah.
it's eating fewer calories. So
So
finding that, yeah.
on this idea of just how much this has been drilled into people's brains, I'm going to blow your mind here, okay? So I've got, well, first of all, there's two different surveys, very quick. Well, the first one, and they found this repeatedly as they've done this survey. So this is the International Food Information Council Foundation Food and Health Survey. How's that for a mouthful?
Yeah.
The top barrier that people reported to losing or maintaining weight was a lack of willpower. So that how entrenched in people's minds is this idea that, on some level, I should just be able to lose weight. I should be able to just make the right choices, quote
Mhm.
unquote.
Yeah, I should be able to resist. I should be able to walk away. And of course, with all the shoulds comes a whole lot of judgment, and
Yes,
that just doesn't work when you're trying to make these major lifestyle changes and create new healthy routines. Judging yourself and shooting on yourself
that's right.
doesn't work. I always say don't shoot on yourself.
Yes. So just to sort of demonstrate how deeply embedded these are, let me ask you.
Okay.
You know
Uh-oh.
that this is largely not an issue of willpower. Have you ever chastised yourself because the eating got out of control and you ended up eating more calories or foods that you said you were going to either avoid or eat very few of,
Yeah, of course.
right?
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
you know this, but yet you still blame yourself, and we all still blame ourselves.
Right. 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 It's Yeah, it's fascinating. So that's something that I think, again, it's freeing when you can let go of that. Don't you think?
I do. And isn't that the move? You're always going to experience the judgment, right? Always, always, always. It's built into us. You know, I'm contractually obligated to bring up the historical view, right? The evolutionary
Right.
perspective.
You are,
You know, if you
exactly.
walked around through all of the millennia thinking, "Well, I have no control over anything,"
Right.
you're not gonna be in action. You're not gonna be a problem solver. You're not gonna survive.
Right.
So it's the people who say, we got this and I can do this, you know, that were favored throughout all of the millennia. So it's built into us to have agency and to think that, you know, I can affect the
Mhm.
outcomes of my life. And if we didn't think that way, well, there's a word for it. It's called depression. You know?
Yeah.
So,
I
so
love the word agency. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I just love that word because to me that's, it's always saying, okay, there is something I can do to affect change.
yes.
And that puts us in the driver's seat, and it gives us back a little power, and puts us in control. And I think when, we've worked with people who come to us and they really are kind of at their last stop, like they've tried everything and they're really feeling very defeated. And when you can turn around and give them back some power and put that, it's powerful, don't you think?
Ah, so much so.
Yeah.
So that brings up another point that we should sharpen a little bit here, which is whenever we talk about the pitfalls of willpower, we're not saying that you will never need to use willpower if
Right,
you embrace the. We use willpower all day long. You use
right,
willpower to get out of bed in the morning.
right.
You use willpower to concentrate on driving when you go from point A to point B. You use willpower to practice the to-do approach. But when it's a focus on the positive to-dos and all of their inherent benefits, you don't need to use as much willpower.
Right. And aren't there studies that say that willpower will run out eventually in the day? I mean,
All of them say that.
yeah.
You wake up,
So,
you have a limited reservoir of willpower, and every decision you make taps into it, taps into it, taps into it. I think that's probably the biggest reason why, if you ask most people, and I know you have, what are your witching hours? Very
mhm.
few people say 9 a.m.,
Right. So true.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the mean trick though, is it so for the people who think that willpower is what's going to get them through, it might at 9 a.m. It might even at noon, but at 9 o'clock at night, when you've made a million decisions, you have no willpower left.
No,
Like there
you've
ain't
used it
nothing.
up.
Yeah, there's nothing in the tank, yet you're trying to rely on something you don't have anymore.
Yes.
And then what you're left with is, oh, look at me, I failed again. No,
Yeah.
you didn't fail. You didn't fail.
Yes.
And so again, the whole to-do approach says, well, let's talk about what you could do at 9 o'clock at night. Let's be forward thinking about that. What are the things that you can do so that
Right.
you don't keep falling into that same trap? And
Right.
there's many examples of that.
On top of using up your reservoir of willpower, there's another factor, which is you tend to be more tired at night, and
Yeah.
that is an independent issue that will drain your willpower or have you less likely to exert your willpower.
Let's make
So,
that point again.
10 o'clock at night, you've used up your willpower making decisions all day long, even just having conversations with people to some extent,
Yeah.
you use a little bit of willpower. So you've used it up all day long. And then also as an independent factor, if when you're tired, that's been well documented
Yeah.
to you're
Absolutely.
much less likely to exert willpower successfully if you're tired.
Yeah.
So that's a
Absolutely.
terrible combination.
Totally.
Yeah. So this idea of the to-do approach, focusing on the positives and for food, low energy density foods is really what we're talking about here. But a big focus on them. And then we've also touched upon the other side of it, which is we sort of feel that the not to do approach is something we should be better at than we
Hmm.
are.
Hmm.
We over rely on willpower,
Yeah.
and that is embedded in us, instilled in us as part of being human. Let me just quickly cover the second survey, which shows the focus culturally on this. So this is the Hartman Group survey. You ready? The top 5 tactics used primarily to manage weight. You ready?
Yeah.
Number 1, watch portion sizes.
Mhm.
Focus on the to-do approach. Yeah, that's much less of a focus, right? Number two, control the amount of food consumed. I'm not so sure that's very different from number one.
Exactly.
It just shows you. It's just repetition after repetition of the not to do rely on willpower.
Yeah.
Number three, avoid eating late at night. Is it?
Don't do it. It's that same thing.
It's the same thing. Number four,
Mm,
limit the amount of junk food you eat.
don't eat it.
Don't eat it. Same thing. And number five, watch the calories consumed, which of course we actually train people
Yeah.
to watch the calories consumed. But if you're practicing a willpower, no focus on the healthy, low calorie foods, and let's just use something that I've gotten into recently, cake, because of the birthday and whatnot. I
Yeah.
mentioned that in the last one. Um, and you're watching those calories add up all so quickly.
Mm,
Oh, I mean,
yeah.
that's not a very useful thing either, focusing on the calories, because how quickly can I feel like a failure as I'm way over my budget and it's four
Right,
o'clock
right.
in the
And then you just
afternoon.
say, and then you're just like, well, screw it. There's the all or nothing thinking.
Yeah,
So
right,
yeah, it keeps you out of that. It
right.
gives you a positive place to put your energy. And I think the big takeaway is that it's not, you don't have to have willpower. Certainly you need a little bit, but you don't have to have it. You will run out of it. And isn't it amazing to know you have something else you can rely on
Yes,
that you can do, that
yes,
we, that everybody can eat fruits and vegetables,
right.
right? It's like the easiest, well, I shouldn't say the easiest, but it's one that might come a little easier because it's eating food. I mean, it's not, don't do it. It's just make it different.
And there are ways to make the fruits and vegetables extremely tasty.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So many ways.
Okay, so do you want to hear a couple of members' comments on why the to-do approach is so effective
Sure.
and why more is better? So Sylvia wrote, it's all psychological in order to avoid the guilt and keep you in the box. In the box being our definition of staying on the weight loss track with a limited
Right.
number of selections of low calorie foods. Ultimately, you do add calories, but it's better to add a shake than, and she included a cheeseburger icon.
Yes. I mean, you're not gonna, I don't know too many people coming in who are gaining weight because they had that extra shake. But it's usually the people who come in who have had some other event because they didn't have the shake or they didn't have the, so.
Absolutely. Larry, the founder of HMR, used to always frame the extra shake or extra shakes, or really any more is better, is these calories that you're eating are actually calorie savings.
Huh,
It's the same
that's
point.
great.
It's the same point that Sylvia is making. You're
Yep.
investing, let's just keep it simple, an extra 120 calories for a high volume shake because you're going to avoid the extra fill in the blank, many more calories because
Right.
you got hungry or you
Right.
just wanted to eat and your willpower was waning.
Right.
So,
Right. 100%. That's a great, I love that. Calorie savings. It's so, so true.
mm, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And the whole, I just want to comment too on the portion thing. Or I'm always amazed by people who try to rely on the like, okay, I'm going to order what I want to eat and just eat half. I'm
Mm,
thinking of a restaurant. I went out to a restaurant this weekend and I ordered something that I really wanted to eat, and there was no way I was eating half of that. I mean, I could have fooled myself into saying that I would, but once it's in front of you, I mean, that you're relying on willpower. And then, of course, when you don't have it, you feel bad about yourself. But yeah, the to-do approach is much, much different.
That example you've just given, that is nothing. I'll take this exact same thing that happens there and just boil it down to the basic example that we always use, or that every dieter's ever used, which is I'm just going to have one cookie.
Yeah,
Isn't it the exact same thing? I'm
exactly.
going
Yeah,
to eat half of what's in that, or what's on my plate at the restaurant. It's
yeah,
no different than I'm going to just have one chip,
right.
or I'll just have a
Magical
few.
thinking.
Yeah.
Magical thinking.
Yeah. And then, so there it is again, the pitfalls of the not to do approach.
Yeah,
It's steeped in deprivation, restriction, and brings all sorts of negativity from past dieting all it does is remind you of when
Yeah.
things have gone spectacularly wrong in the
Yeah.
past, isn't it? It's exactly
Yeah.
how it always
Exactly.
goes wrong.
That's exactly right. And isn't it refreshing to be in a program like ours where you don't have to go there? You
Yeah,
actually have a way out of that.
freedom,
Uh, yeah, freedom. It is freeing.
psychological freedom around food. What a wonderful thing.
Mm,
Maybe the most important advantage of the to-do
yeah,
approach.
I
So
agree.
Michelle B basically summarizes the point that we just made. This is such a great quote. So related to the to-do approach, and give yourself permission to eat more. I didn't believe it. I always had a mixed up message about food. Instead of eating food to fuel your body, I was taught growing up that food was an enemy and that dieting was a punishment. It
Oh,
led me to the live to eat mentality.
yeah.
Thank you for teaching me how to eat for life, and now I eat to live. Thank you.
Wow, that's great.
Powerful.
Yes,
I eat
to live.
to live and to live
Yeah,
healthfully as opposed
right,
to living to eat
right.
and all the negativity that comes along with that because people aren't practicing. One more time, best kept secret, the to do approach.
New approach.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm, it's good ones. Those are some good ones.
really good one.
Yeah.
Coach Nancy, who was my mentor for many years and my real partner in crime in terms of
Mm-hmm.
program development
Mm-hmm.
through all the years, she used to talk about the advantages of the to do approach occur before you eat, while you're eating, and after you're eating. And I
Mm,
thought that was always such a great way to frame it. So just think about it beforehand. So as opposed to the willpower and I've got to limit my portions or I'm not supposed to eat this, you've now developed some skills around low calorie foods that they're your skills, so you like the foods. Talk about how little decision anxiety there is.
right,
There's no food stress.
right. Yeah, and I think when you remove decision anxiety, it makes it so much easier for people, So, people talk a lot about food noise,
Yes.
and I think the to-do approach helps to dial down some of that noise a little bit, turns the volume down on it.
Yeah.
100%. I love that though. You know what it made me think of too, and I don't know if you were going here, but I'm going to say it. Um, before you eat, so there is a to-do approach around what we call front loading, which would probably be the equivalent of what teenagers call pre-gaming, um, but not with alcohol, with shakes. So it isn't uncommon for our folks before they go to the 4th of July barbecue, or the Christmas dinner to have a double shake on the way.
Yes.
And that's very counterintuitive. In fact, I've had people say, "Well, you want me to eat before I'm going to eat?" And I
Yes.
said, "Yes, in fact, I do."
Yes.
Because the to-do approach of that allows you to enter not starving, and you're able to make decisions that are going to serve you well versus just eating like a lunatic.
It's a
Because
huge strategy to have a successful experience in a restaurant
yeah,
or at a challenging occasion. Just lowering it's not a guarantee
right,
the calories are going to be managed better, but it certainly increases the chances because you're not sitting there hungry already. The rational person that I think I am is gone.
right,
I am just, when I'm hungry,
yeah,
it's pretty much over.
yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
fog comes over.
So pre-gaming, I like that a lot, front end loading. The
Yeah.
idea of fewer decisions, less food stress before
Mhm.
you even eat.
Yeah.
But then Nancy's other 2 points were during the meal, we've already mentioned it, but because tastes are learned, you're actually enjoying your meal with no sense of, I'm gonna really have to pay the piper here.
Right.
You know that feeling?
Yes. You're
Ah,
doing it, but you're like, you can't even enjoy it.
no, you can't. You,
'Cause
you
it's
actually have to say, I'm gonna just stop thinking about this.
right,
Because if you sit there and are doing the math of the calorie savings that you're undoing from the week's work,
right,
the whole experience is so it's just the heck with it. I'm just going to enjoy myself right now and I'll just figure it out. I'll
right,
figure it out,
right. Which, yeah,
which is just so
it
hard.
lends itself to behaviors that aren't helpful long term.
So more enjoyment during um, the meals, the snacks, and then after it's sort of obvious. Again, not sitting there feeling that guilt that so often is accompanied with so many eating experiences for the average dieter. It's
Mm-hmm.
just such a bummer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and can I give a couple other examples that sort of fit into those two times? Because I feel like
Yeah.
now that I started with that, and I know you know these, but one during would be, and I think it was Bill who told me this one, but anchor your plate first with the veggies. So if you, let's say you go to Thanksgiving, there's lots of veggies at Thanksgiving. So before you decide to eat anything, just, 3, 4 servings of veggies and then go back.
Yes.
Because the whole thinking is if you eat all the veggies first, that, you're filling up on low calorie foods and then you'll be in a better place to make different those decisions, the other just food decisions. And then for the after is have something planned in the fridge, ready to go, something
Mhm.
that you really enjoy. That these are all to-dos, things that you can manage and control and I think again it puts you in the driver's seat and that's so important.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
So again, the to-do approach, focusing like big time on planning in what to eat, as opposed to exerting all sorts of useless energy around, oh, I can't have this and I can't have that, and oh boy, I would love to have that other thing, but I can't have that either. That's just discouraging.
Right. It doesn't work long term.
Hey, related to this, we talked a minute ago about this, but have you had worked with people, I'm sure you have, where the distinction between good full and bad full has ever been shared? So being
Um,
full on healthy, low calorie food versus
yep,
someone falls into an old pattern and goes to the fast food restaurant.
yep,
Have you
yep,
ever
yep.
heard that distinction?
I haven't heard it called that, but
Mhm.
I've heard them discuss that.
That's another after the meal benefit. So
Yeah.
not just guilt, but the
Oh, I got
physiological sense
I got you. Yeah.
of I'm full, but when it's on nutritious, it is different. It's
Yes.
I've heard it 1,000 times from people throughout the years, how
Yep.
bad they feel, literally physically, because they fell, way into some of the cultural norms, whether it's, a
Yeah.
lot of pieces of pizza or fried food or whatnot.
Yeah. It just shows you how closely tied together your mind is to you can feel full, but you don't have to feel bad. So and I think that's interesting. So people associate having a full belly with bad, but it doesn't have to be bad.
Right?
Yeah. That
Another
is
popular but misleading belief
hmm
because it's so entrenched with I'm going to gain weight.
exactly. Exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure you've had these people come in or that you see who said, "Oh, I ate so many fruits and vegetables yesterday or this week that I know I'm going to gain weight," and then they lose weight. Have you ever had that happen? I have.
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
And in fact, it becomes like a way for me to help coach my members, my clients, when I see like I know their numbers well enough to say like, okay, your fruits and veggies are well below, 47, just making a number up. When you're in the 40s, that's where I see your weight do the best. But when we get into the 30s, and of course they started with 30 and worked their way up, but
Yeah, I constantly am
amazing.
trying to support people to not get locked into the minimums. You
Hmm.
just said it right there.
Yeah.
5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is amazing. 35 in a week. Typical person, latest survey, the average person does fewer than 10 in the week. Boy, that's a lot of room for higher calorie stuff. But I will constantly coach people to revise their minimums.
Hmm.
For me, less than 50 makes weight management a lot harder. There's nothing magic about 35 for me. And
And
you
you're
already
hungrier
mentioned
probably.
you mentioned yours is 60
60,
more,
70.
60 to 70 in a
Oh
week.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I mean, I eat a lot, but I eat a lot of the to-do, the things that I know I have no guilt. I have no guilt. And it's very freeing because it wasn't always that way. I mean,
Right.
I dieted in my life. Of course, I've gained weight. I've gone on diets, and I was always riddled with guilt. Good, bad, good, bad. And this just moves you away from that. It is the most psychologically freeing thing if you can wrap your head around it. And it takes a little while. Totally get that. But
Yes.
all different kinds of fruits and vegetables at a barbecue and just know I can eat all that. It's
Yes.
great. I
Wonderful.
can,
It's wonderful.
and I will.
Yeah.
versus, oh, I can't eat that. Or, oh, that's so high calorie. Oh, then you see somebody else eating it and you say, I wish I could be like that. It just sucks. It just
Terrible.
sucks.
Yeah.
The
So
one thing I'll just say quickly, and I know we're short on time, we have to wrap, but the other thing about eating more, and we're leaning a lot into fruits and vegetables, is that, fiber is so important, and it's like sort of the nutrient that we don't talk enough about, but only 5% of Americans eat the recommended amount of fiber, which isn't a tremendous amount. It's not like it's like this number that people can't hit. I think it's 25 grams for women and like 38 grams for men. Only 5%. And that's interesting to me. And that shows that we have a lot of room to move with this to-do approach around eating specifically more fruits and vegetables, not only for weight, but for health.
thank you for highlighting that. So not only are the fruits and veggies the lowest calorie food group with the highest nutritional composition with the phytochemicals and whatnot, this fiber thing, we don't like to invoke magical thinking ever with weight management. The world does that enough on its own.
Right.
But to me, this might be the closest thing to magic, the fiber, because when you're eating a higher fiber diet, you are not absorbing all of the calories that you are eating.
That's right. Exactly. People don't know that.
People don't know that. I'll always remember a USDA report, very simple statement. That was the conclusion. If the average female went from the miserly 12 grams of fiber per day and just doubled it to 24 grams, the recommendation, she would lose 10 pounds in a year because fewer of the calories that she would be eating would be absorbed. So there's one more check mark in the to-do approach column, particularly with fruits and veggies and fiber.
Yeah, so important.
So here's how I propose that we end this.
Okay.
New York Times Magazine article. And for those who are not watching this podcast, what is the cover? What does the cover of this New York Times Magazine article say?
Do you have to be superhuman to lose weight?
Do you have to be superhuman to lose weight? And I think a lot of people think so, right?
We need to start buying people capes.
Yes. Do you have to be superhuman? Well, what have we been talking about here? You don't have to be superhuman, but you do have to have knowledge. And I think this idea of really exploring the best kept secret in weight loss still is to practice an approach of abundance, a positive approach that includes the psychological freedom that we've been talking about, as opposed to what most people are still doing, which is basing their hopes, their whole approach on a philosophy of deprivation and hunger. Well, you're just going to have to learn to be hungry.
Right. And willpower.
Yeah,
white knuckling it all the time.
And that is going to lead to a very frustrating future for weight management. There's another move to make.
Mm-hmm.
And that's...
Yeah, last thing, I know there is no virtue in being starving. Like, I think sometimes we tie our success. It's like this sort of virtue statement, like, I did it. I resisted the food. You don't have to do that. Like, you don't have to be virtuous. You just have to focus on what you can do. Right. What can I do? I love that.
Yes. Yes. All right. So the to-do approach, more is better, and all of the advantages that are built into it.
Yes.
Hope this was a helpful conversation for folks. All right, Jina. Awesome.
All right. Bye. See you later.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.